Well, massive apologies for the late start, everybody. But this is just a little addition to the show that we did last night. We didn't have time to do this last night because we just ran out of time. But I just wanted to say a few words about the Jubilee that we've just had here in the UK. Huge celebrations for the Queen's, I don't know, whatever it was. I don't follow these things really. But our Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, set aside £28 million to fund the festivities in last year's budget. That's a hell of a lot of money. And in this country, we have roughly, it varies, but roughly every night we have approximately 1,800 rough sleepers. Now that's enough to pay for the rent on a decent apartment, a decent flat, for every one of them for 2 years. We've got to ask ourselves whether that's the right way to spend this sort of money. And of course, that's not to mention the estimated 2.39 billion lost to the country in lost productivity due to the extra bank holiday. We really do need to think about our priorities. I'm all for a piss up, don't get me wrong, I'm all for a piss up. But do we really need to spend that kind of money? Time was when a Jubilee was an occasion to write off the debts of the poor. Now it seems a time when the poor take on more debt in order just to have a great party. It's sad, isn't it? Now, when we criticize things like this, it's important that we're not coming from a place of envy and jealousy. I don't want to come from a place of envy and jealousy. That's just feeding into the scarcity mindset, this whole idea that they want us to believe in, really, that there's not enough and that we have to work our fingers to the bone for every penny we get. The truth is there's more than enough, ample resources for everyone on this planet, if only we pull together instead of working against each other. I've heard an awful lot of talk and I get into a lot of arguments, I'm afraid, with people who want to have a maximum wage, a maximum income, and all this sort of nonsense. I don't care what you earn. I don't care if anybody earns £1 million a day if they want to, provided that they share that income fairly amongst all the people that help make it. I think we need to look at leveling up, not leveling down. And like I say, if we all pull together, we can level up. I talk about something in my book that I call the differentials tax, where you're not taxed on how many pounds or dollars or euros or yen you earn. You're taxed on how many pounds or dollars or euros or yen you earn in addition to what the lowest paid worker in that company is getting. That way, if the CEO wants to earn £1 million a year, he can. Provided he gives the janitor 100,000, say, you know? Just share it evenly amongst the people who helped create it. But let's work towards leveling up, towards helping each other to thrive. I said, it's only going to be a very, very short video. I just didn't have a chance to say some of these things yesterday. It's all about a changed mindset. People the world over, they're thinking, how much can I get? How much can I get? How much can I get? Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Instead of thinking, how much can I give? I'm suggesting that as we move into a higher vibration, into what some people are calling the age of Aquarius or fifth dimension of consciousness, that we move to thinking in terms of love and generosity instead of meanness and fear. Now just imagine if the Queen had that mindset. Just imagine if some of the wealth that she hoards, sitting on a gold throne, lording over the rest of us, if instead of hoarding it, she was motivated, not forced, motivated to share it. What a wonderful world this would be. As I said at the beginning of this call, all those rough sleepers could have somewhere permanent to live. Not night shelters. Nobody should live in night shelters. Everyone should have somewhere decent to live. And if we had this attitude of sharing, of giving, instead of getting and hoarding, but the royal family, I mean, it's all part of this this celebrity culture, isn't it? That we've become so much a part of in recent years. I can't understand people following sports people or bands, singers, actors, because at least they get some entertainment from that. Yeah, what do they get from the royal family? But we've been conditioned to look up to people who take money out of society for their own use, rather than people who put into society, who give to society, who enrich society. We've become accustomed to admiring people who drive big fancy cars and live in big fancy houses. If we stop doing that, you and me now, and we started respecting the people who were putting more into society, the charity workers, for instance, the doctors and nurses, when they're playing the game and not being subverted into some big con as they've been over the last couple of years, then people would be motivated to give and not to get. It's all a case of what I can't remember. I don't know the details. I've not done a psychology degree, but my first wife did one, and she was talking about strokes. I don't know whether anyone's heard about that. She came home talking about something she called strokes that she'd learned at university. Whereas we don't work for money or wealth, not really. We work for strokes. We work for recognition. We work for admiration. Yeah. So if we admire the right aspects of people, the right things in people, instead of admiring the wrong things in people, then people's motivations will change. And that's really the whole point of my book, Love Not Fear, which you can see over my shoulder there. And I'll put a link to it below in the description. So it's an old book. It was written about 6 years ago now, 5-6 years ago now. So it's not talking about all the events of the last 2 years, although it does predict them just a little bit, although it may have got the time scale wrong. I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. Hang on, I've got a bit of light shining on my face here. Let's see if I can do something about that. That's better. That's better. Bear with me while I do this. I thought I could get away with it because it's such a nice evening, but well, now I've got it everywhere. I need a better camera, don't I? I need a better camera. I need a better computer, come to that. So maybe you could all club together and get me one. Wouldn't that be nice? Maybe somebody was talking about doing me a GoFundMe. I don't know whether that will come to anything. But anyway, well, it is what it is. Let's see if I can bounce that off of instead of having it direct. That's better. That's better. You can see me better now. So yeah, what would happen? Just think, just to have a little mental experiment here. What would happen if we admired people who gave to society instead of the people that take out of society? Everything would change, wouldn't it? Everything would change. And we're talking about the royal family and this event which has just happened. The royal family has lost its purpose over the last 1,000 years or so, maybe 2. In Celtic times and before, the king was always the strongest man in the tribe, in the group, the best fighter, who would lead his men into battle. He would lead into battle from the front. And to be honest, Andrew and Harry revived that tradition just a little bit. Andrew during the Falklands War and Harry during the Gulf War, I think, was it? No, the Afghan War, wasn't it? Which we should never have been involved with anyway. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Afghan War and the Gulf War were not legitimate wars anyway. And it's such a shame that both of them have let the country down since in their own different ways. But I'm not here to talk about having a go at them for that. That's not what I'm here to have a go at. You all know what they've both done. I don't need to talk about it on this channel. But I'm afraid now, most of the royals, most of the time, are just parasites. Taking resources out of society and putting back very, very little. There was something in the paper. I don't really follow the mainstream media. Somebody was telling me about this today at the meditation group I go to, that it wasn't even the Queen in that golden carriage. It was a hologram. And I thought, oh, come on, that's just a conspiracy theory. That's silly. And then I saw the pictures in the mainstream papers. And it was a black and white hologram of a very much younger lady, a much younger queen. She couldn't even be bothered to turn up and ride in a carriage. Okay, she's old and she's sick. And some people are speculating that she's already dead, although I don't actually believe that. But the point is, I'm not going to get into all that here. This isn't the channel for that. But they just put so very, very, as a group, the royals just put so very, very little into society. It's this whole mindset of gimme, gimme, gimme. But a better way is possible if we just change our thinking. A better way is possible. If we're going to enter a new earth, we're going to have a new mindset. We can't enter the new earth with the old earth's mindset. Let me say that again. We can't enter the new earth with the old earth's mindset, with the old way of thinking. We can't enter the new earth, a raised vibration, the new earth that is coming, with the same level of thinking that created the old earth, or that has enabled us to survive in the old earth. It just won't be possible. So why don't we start practicing now? When we stop using money, when we stop putting a number on how much we can give compared with how much we can get, when we stop quantifying it, when we stop keeping score, when we rip up all the balance sheets and decide we don't need them anymore. When we say, don't pay me back. I've done something for you, I've given you something, I've helped you, don't pay me back. I don't want you to pay me back. And I say this now to everybody that I help. Don't pay me back, pay it forward, help somebody else. Then, and only then, will we be ready to embrace the new earth. And it's true that those of us who lead the way, and I'm not bragging, but I'm one who leads the way, those of us who practice that way of life now, those of us who embrace that new mindset now, we're bound to be taken advantage of by those who haven't evolved. And that's okay. We have to be okay with that. Paul McKellar tells a story. I don't know if you remember Paul McKellar, the hypnotist. He told a story a long time ago of this holy man whose house was burgled. And he caught the thief. And the thief was running down the street with this holy man's silver cups and silver, I don't know. You get the picture anyway. And the priest was running after him. The holy man was running after him down the street, carrying more of his silver, saying, hey, you forgot this. If we take that way of thinking, it may seem crazy now. It may seem crazy now. But that's the way I try to live my life. Somebody takes something from me, instead of getting cross, instead of getting angry, I try to empathize with why they are in that position to need to take. And I try to give them more. And I really want to see people embracing that way of thinking. Crazy as it may seem in our present old world, 3D, three-dimensional way of being, doesn't make any sense, does it? But in the new earth we're trying to create, it will make sense, believe me. And we need to start practicing it now. As I say, a few brave souls, including myself, but not just me, there's lots of us, are embracing this way of thinking now. And I encourage all of you to do the same. We started this broadcast talking about the Queen, and she's clearly not willing, and her family are clearly not willing to embrace that level of thinking now. But that shouldn't stop us. We need to break the old mold. We need to break the vicious cycle. People who hurt people hurt people. Sorry, people who've been hurt hurt people, as the adage goes. Hurt people hurt people. We need to stop that vicious cycle. We need to be strong, really strong. And help those who hurt us. Love those who hurt us. To love them all the more because we see their suffering, which has caused them to hurt us. And those, me and the few of us that are doing it at the moment, the number is growing. The number is growing. We walk tall. Even though most of the time we're walking alone, we walk tall. Now, what I'm suggesting, and it's already happening in many parts of the world, in many parts of this country too, is that we form ourselves into small groups. We practice the new paradigm amongst ourselves in small groups before trying to take it into the broader society. So who's with me? Who wants to form a group? A free gift economy group, or whatever you want to call it, you know? Started around community gardens. I'm starting to, with some friends, I'm starting to do a community garden here in Stafford. There's lots of great community gardens around the country, around the world that you can join. Because our first need is food. We need shelter too, but most people's shelter needs are covered at the moment, at least for the moment. But as we move along this path, we can use these community gardens as hubs for broader free gift economy groups. This is my dream. They have non-gardeners, people with different skills joining the groups, or doing what they can do and giving what they can give, serving in whatever way they personally can serve, whatever their own personal specialities may be. Without asking for any money, without, as Saint Ignatius de Loyola said, to give and not to count the cost, to labor and not to seek for any reward. And if we do this amongst ourselves, within the group, then we're not going to be taken advantage of. But we also need to put it out there to the broader society. They need to see what they're doing, what we're doing. They need to feel our love, even if they don't share it. Even if they can't help us, even if they can't love us. Show love, show generosity, please, to everyone. So anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about today. As I say, it's just a little add-on to what I was saying yesterday. And the excellent program I did with Annie Day, and I thank Annie Day very much for yesterday. She came across with some wonderful health tips for us all, health hacks. That's it. Now, on Friday, I've got another very special lady coming on to talk about why it's important to that we all are allowed, are free to advance, to evolve in our own personal way, to follow our own personal paths, why we shouldn't be pushed down into some sort of conformist path. So that'll be fantastic. That's under the banner of Co-Creating the New Earth Together, the shows I do on Friday. Now, just to remind you all that don't know, all my shows are now being recorded on Zoom. I put them up on YouTube afterwards, and this will go up on YouTube later today. So all of the shows live, and you can come and interact live on all the shows, all on the same link, the same shortcut link, which I've devised, which is zoomjack.uk. Okay, I'll put the link below. You can access all my shows. You don't need the big long you don't need the big long Zoom address. You just need to put in Zoom Jack or HTTPS if you want, :/ or www, or whatever way you want to do it, whatever way you're used to doing it. zoomjack.uk. And if you hit on that link at any time of the week, it'll normally show my latest show underneath, and it'll give you links to click on to join the Monday show or the Friday show. But if you actually join at the time of the show, and all the shows are 6:30 p.m. UK time, Love Not Fear on a Monday, Co-Creating the New Earth Together on a Friday, but they're all at 6:30 p.m. UK time. That's 7:30 p.m. Central European time. Then the link goes straight through to Zoom. Okay. So that's it for tonight. And thank you for listening to an old man chatting about what's dear to his heart. I love you all very much. Namaste.